Hello and welcome to Exercise Your Thumbs. The content review I'm going to do today is for a new release as of the 14th of June called The Last of Us, which is exclusive to PlayStation 3. There is the box art for you. As you can see, it's a nice fat 18 rated symbol on the front. And if we have a look at the back, you can see that 18 rating there is for violence and bad language and online content. Although there is online content, the main thrust of this game is a single player campaign. Just to give you a little summary of what the game is, it starts now in this year, where a mysterious virus has infected people and driving them mad. And a father, Joel, and his daughter, who's 10 or 11, are trying to escape a city that has been hit by this virus. The first 20 minutes of this game are incredibly tense, very stressful, particularly because the quality of the acting is superb. Naughty Dog, who the people who produce this game, are well renowned for getting the very best actors to do their games for them. They motion capture them, and the quality of the motion capture is every bit as good as you would expect to see in a Hollywood film. What that does is it invests the characters with such depth and reality, their reactions, their fear, their happiness, their sadness, and their anger. All of these things are very relatable because the animation, the facial animation, and the quality of the acting behind them is so good. So the 20 minutes from the start of the game up to the end of the prologue are tense, they're unsettling, and I'm not ashamed to say that as a big hairy 42-year-old man, at the end of the prologue, I was in floods of tears. It was that traumatic. And that's what this game is all about. It's not a game that is about vanquishing thousands and thousands of foes in a really cool way. It's not a vibrant, colourful, fun game. This is a game about people surviving in very hostile conditions. And once that prologue is over, the game fast forwards 20 years. And Joel, the father from the prologue, is now living in an enclave in America. Population of humanity has been decimated, and the uninfected live in these very squalid, military-controlled conditions in these encampments in the centre of cities. And around the encampments, the military have done a scorched earth policy and have just bombed it to hell to try and kill as many of the infected as possible. To leave the enclave is to invite death, really, either because the military will shoot you for escaping, or you will succumb to the virus yourself, or the people who've been driven mad by the virus will attack and kill you. Also, because you are just a normal person, you're not a soldier, you're not trained or skilled. You have very limited supplies. You have rubbish weapons. You're not very good at shooting straight. So the whole of the game is about managing resources. You will never have enough things to keep you safe. So you have to really think about how you work through dangerous situations. And it is continual stress, continual anxiety, continual fear. It is a horror game. And it is horrific. It is frightening. It'll make you jump. It will make you hide behind the sofa. I mean, it's very, very good at what it does. So the game is very graphically violent. Because in the context of what the story is about, you are a survivor. You are just trying to make day to day. And a dead person actually means that you have more food at the end of the day. So it doesn't actually have much of a moral compass in many respects. People don't hesitate to kill people who cross them because actually that does benefit them in some way. And the violence is not gratuitous. There is nothing gratuitous about the violence. It's not like a lot of the first-person shooters like Call of Duty, where you're just mowing down waves and waves of enemies with really high-tech weaponry. You are hitting people with bricks. You are hitting them with plank. Close up, you're shooting them with a shotgun, and if you hit someone close range with a shotgun in this game, the damage is very realistic. It's not pretty, it's not pleasant. And actually, whenever you do kill someone, there is a feeling that you've done something wrong, which is really quite incredible to put that into a game. It makes you feel guilty for your actions, which shows the maturity and how intelligently this game has been put together. There are consequences for your actions, and you do feel those in a very real way because the superb acting and motion capture makes you invest and believe in the characters a lot more. So violence is unremitting, it's brutal, it is close up and personal, and just unremittingly bleak. The language is very, very ripe as well. This is a stressful situation that you find the protagonists in. Civilization in the main has fallen apart, and when people are under stressful situations, they do tend to unfortunately use some unpleasant words. So in the context of the story, the language is absolutely appropriate. However, again, it is very, very strong. We're talking about full-on four-letter swearing here on a regular basis. So again, not necessarily something that you would want a young person to be exposed to. The online elements I haven't had a chance to look at yet. I've seen some videos of online gaming, and I will attach some links to the videos to the bottom of the YouTube channel and onto the website as well. But following the same kind of pattern, very violent. Characters within are going to be swearing, and you're going to be managing resources all the time. So again, not necessarily appropriate for anyone under 18. And I can't emphasize that enough. I mean, I've got 2 other content reviews up at the moment, one for Tomb Raider and one for BioShock Infinite. Both of those games were 18 rated, and for good reason. This one, it is probably the most deserving of its 18 rating. This is a game that I could not recommend anyone under the age of 18 to play. Not unless you want them to lose sleep and have therapy for the rest of their lives. It is very adult content. The reason for this is that actually, surprisingly, the demographic for gamers is over 30. 30 plus is the average age of a gamer in UK and America. It's only a third of gamers are actually under 18, which is why companies like Naughty Dog do provide adult content in their games, because 60% of their demographic are adults. It's just good business sense in the end. And if you go to the About Us page of the website, I've got a link to those statistics so you can read them for yourself. Which is why gaming companies produce 18 rated games that have adult content. This is essentially very much like a horror film. It is horrific. It would be like, like Night of the Living Dead. It would be like 28 Days Later. Actually, it's probably the most reminiscent film to that one that Danny Boyle did, based in a kind of a devastated London, where you've got infected people infected by a virus chasing after you. They catch you, they infect you, you're dead. That's pretty much what the feel of The Last of Us is. So what happens with the rest of the game is Joel is tasked with taking a 14-year-old girl from his enclave, which I believe is in Seattle, across country to another city where she's going to be handed over to another faction, some people who believe she might be of use to the people who've survived the virus. And it is their journey across that and the way their bond builds between the relationship that develops between Joel and Ellie, and also what they have to go through, where they're having to scavenge, they're having to avoid the infected people who are potentially going to kill them, and it does have a massive level of tension. And because of the quality of the acting, it invests the violence and it invests the swearing and it invests the general fear with so much more power, because these are characters that are so much more relatable. It is like playing a film. The quality of the acting is that good. Currently, The Last of Us is the highest scoring game on Metacritic in this year. It's got a 95% Metacritic rating at the moment. It is lauded as one of the best games ever made, and certainly one of the best acted games ever made. So it's going to be one that is on people's lips, and it is a game potentially that your children may say, "Oh, I've heard The Last of Us is absolutely amazing. Please let me play it, Mummy or Daddy." Don't let them. I am not going to play this game where my children are in the house. I mean, I don't play games much when the kids are about anyway, but occasionally they might come in when I'm playing and they'll sit and watch what I'm doing for a few minutes before I switch it off. This game will be switched off the second I know they're anywhere near the house. I will not be turned on until they're out of the house or they're asleep upstairs in bed, because I don't want my children to be exposed to this content, because it is for grown-ups and it would disturb them. So, to sum up, Last of Us, fabulous game in my opinion. I don't do reviews, but I'm massively enjoying playing it. But the violence is unremitting. It is brutal. It is in your face, visceral, beating someone to death with a brick violence. I mean, it is not pleasant. The language is all the time. I mean, there is at least one 4-letter swear word, at least one every minute. I would hate to sit and count the number of times the F word is used in the first kind of 25 minutes of the game. So again, that content is very, very grown up. And also the very bleak, very oppressive, very frightening, tense, stressful tone the game wants you to inhabit, and certainly delivers, is one that is going to potentially be very unsettling and uncomfortable for younger people who are not used to dealing with those levels of stress. So plea to you. I don't make pleas very often in this. I just give information that please, 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 if you've got an under 18 who wants to play this game, don't let them. It's as simple as that. I am going to put some. There's not a lot of gameplay out there at the moment because the game has only been out for a day. But I will link you to the reviews on Game Trailers. I'll put a link into the playthrough that PlayStation Access did recently, also their multiplayer playthrough as well, and any other trailers and footage I can have. Watch them, you get a view for yourself exactly what the game is all about. Superb, but not for young ones. I hope this has been useful. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.